Hey everybody, it's the Devious Diva here along with John.
How we doing, guys?
We hope you're having a great evening. We're having our scary sleepover and we're watching all of the Hatchet films. We're still in the first film and we're going to talk about all 4 of them and be live. This is going to be just a brief video because I go through all of these things pretty quickly. And I'm just talking about why I like each one and some of the actors I don't like, because that's what I do. If you're a critic, you should have great things to say and negative things to say. If me and John were like American Idol judges, I would be the Simon. That's all I could say. You'd be one of the nicer people, and I'm the mean person.
You'd be Randy Jackson.
Yeah, I didn't want to say Paula Abdul. I'd love to be her fashion-wise, but I'd be like Simon Cowell because if I was a guy, I'd be a prick, so I'm a bitch. Anyway, we're watching the first Hatchet, which was 2006, and it is written and directed by Adam Green, who we had the pleasure of meeting. A lot of people that criticize these movies will say it's just like all the other slasher films. While it is like any other slasher film, like Halloween or Friday the 13th, there's a guy, well, he's not in a mask, he's deformed, but he is going around just chopping up everyone. He doesn't really talk or have much personality, but would you say that Hatchet is very different from other slasher films or the same? Same, but different?
Same, but different, I'd say, for sure. You know, he's deformed, so I guess that's kind of like Freddy, so he's not wearing a mask. But he does go around just killing people with a big sharp object. So I'd say it's kind of, it is the same but different.
Same but different. I want to say since the first Hatchet, I feel like apparently the look has changed from 1, 2, 3. I think 2 on, it looks the same. But I still say in the first one, and the monster design for Victor Crowley is the best one.
More freaky.
It's more freaky
looking.
I think he looks like a bloody Cabbage Patch doll in 2, 3, and 4. Apparently, he changes looks between 2 and 3, and other people notice that. I don't notice the change. I'm just bringing that up. So the mask didn't change to me.
It's got to be just pretty subtle, but then again.
Adam noticed it, though, and Kane notices it, because when they do their scary sleepover, Kane and Adam are like, 3, that's the mask, that's the look. So it did change, and he would know. One of them wore it, the other one directed and wrote it, but to me, it doesn't look any different. I think the scariest look for Victor Crowley is this first movie.
Was the first one, yeah.
Was the first movie. Talking about some of the people in the movie, is there anybody that stands out that you like? One in the beginning in particular is huge that Adam Green got for the first film.
Robert Englund.
I mean, the whole time he's on the phone, he's like, I'm not worthy. I have Robert Englund. And that's a big deal because he's a horror icon. He's a huge deal. And I think for Adam Green, that is pretty good. So
that's a big one. I mean, he got, was it Joel? I don't know the guy's name.
Joel David Moore, because he's in Dodgeball. He plays a nerd in that.
And then Grandma's Boy, too. I know him from that.
Grandma's Boy. And it's interesting because Adam didn't want to cast him because he looks like a geek. He's not good looking. And he didn't want him for that very reason. He said, you can't be the leading man. And he's like, but I'm funny. Look at all the stuff I do. And he gets to be in it. So it goes to show you.
Him and, what's his name? Joel Murray.
Joel Murray's in this. Yes, Bill Murray's younger brother, who's in a lot of shows like Still Standing and some other TV series. He's one of the people that's on the boat tour for Honey Island Swamp. I like to call it Honeycomb Swamp because of the cereal. And Swamp, I write it down because I can't say it right. So that's another thing. But the reoccurring character that's in it is Parry Shen. He is in all 4 Hatchets. 2 different characters for the first 2, and then Andrew Young for parts 3 and 4, Victor Crowley. Any thoughts on that, or should they have changed actors? That might be a good question, or it's good for the continuity. Well, 3 and 4, he's the same person. That's one thing, but he gets to be in all of them as different people.
I don't know. I guess because I don't mind him. I think he's kind of a goofball, but I guess it kind of works.
It does work.
Because he's the tour guide in the first one. Then he's the twin brother of the missing tour guide in the second one. Then he's
the paramedic.
Young.
Yes.
Who comes in, does whatever he does, and runs around.
The other thing that I've said, and we're getting towards the end of Hatchet 1, that's what we're watching right now. To me, the scene where Mary Beth is by herself in the boat, which I want to say happens in 1, unless I have this part wrong too.
It goes between 1 and
1 and 2.
The beginning of
where
2
she's in the boat and then Victor Crowley comes back. Reminds me as a throwback to Friday the 13th, which I did show you. To some people, that's not the same. To me, it's the same. Peaceful woman the protagonist in the boat, and there's the monster like swooping down over the boat over them. To me, it's same. That I would say.
It's very similar.
I know different, but to me, that like I said,
it's not really much different. It's pretty much the same.
Just like I love Victor Crowley, but Victor Crowley actually is a name in Ed Wood from 1994, Tim Burton. So I don't know where Adam gets some of that stuff. But
he was the reviewer or something.
So that's been used in a horror movie, but that's okay. So we're actually coming up upon that scene soon. Okay, so talking about some of the other movies, because one to me, although I like it, is the weakest link. I like the movies as they go along. Everybody's different. I like the first one. I like the design and everything. The premise is pretty simple. Mary Beth, her husband, her brother and father are killed, one which is Robert Englund, and she's going on the boat tour just to find Victor Crowley, and everybody else is victim of circumstance because they don't know he's there.
Right.
She knows what she's getting into, they don't, and they're all being killed off one by one. So the first movie is pretty basic to me. So what do you think of Hatchet 2, which we now have the lovely Danielle Harris as Mary Beth? What do you think of her or anything about that?
As far as her, she's just another actress to me. I know everybody gets all excited. They get their heart on for her, but she's just another actress to me. I kind of like the fact that they introduced Tony Todd.
Tony Todd has a much bigger role as Reverend Zombie in that. And he's the one that takes Mary Beth and Uncle Bob, played by Tom Holland, who I love for Child's Play, Fright Night, Psycho 2. He's a great writer-director, and he has that part in it. So him and Mary Beth are being led to the swamp by Tony Todd for the purpose of the three people who taunted and set fire to the house of Thomas and Victor Crowley. It's those three people that Reverend Zombie thinks by bringing them to the swamp will make amends for this whole thing, killing off Victor Crowley, which is not true. And the surprise twist of that, because people have seen these movies, is that Tom Holland is not, in fact, her actual uncle. Just a friend of the father who's Uncle Bob. And the actual uncle died of leukemia. So what do you think of anybody else in it? So Danielle Harris, whether it's her or the actress from the first one, that doesn't really matter much for Mary Beth. To me, no. I don't like Danielle Harris. That's why I said it the way I do. But that being said, some people like her. She's in the Halloween movies 4 and 5.
Yeah.
4 and 5, I believe.
She's an okay actress, but to me, she's just another actress.
She's just another actress.
I like the idea that they kept her from 2 on.
Yeah.
But then again, she just did the cameo at the end for Victor Crowley, but they probably should have kept the Tamara. I don't know her last name.
Tamara Feldman. I only know that because it's like Corey Feldman. So you had the first name.
So they probably should have kept her, but
she wanted more money.
She
and Adam wasn't having that. So who does he get? Danielle Harris, who was begging to be in these movies from the get-go. And he didn't want to do it because he said, I don't want it to look like all I cast is people from a convention. but
everybody's from a convention.
Everybody in these movies is from a convention. So that the whole, I'm not going to cast Danielle Harris, that part is kind of dumb because everybody else he has in the movie he's worked with through a convention or some other movie, or he has a TV show, Holliston, based on his life. Some of you may know that show. It had 2 seasons. I want to say it was on FearNet. It was on
I think it's on Shudder now.
But it was FearNet. I think that picked it up originally. So there's that. But
save yourself the trouble. Just buy the DVDs.
But Tony Todd, so you like him in that because his big role is really in the second one.
I do like the Candyman. I do like him.
And Tom Holland, what about him?
I like Tom Holland.
Because I never see him as the actor. He's the writer. He's the director. He's not usually the actor. So.
Right. Yeah. So that's kind of nifty to see somebody like that on that kind of a scale. It's the same thing like Robert Englund, but he's got a lot more screen time than.
No, and you said that about all of these actors. I feel that Adam is very blessed. You have Robert Englund, you have Tony Todd, you have Kane Hodder, you have Tom Holland. You have people that, no offense, just don't need you. They don't need you. It's for $1, for chump change. They're very famous on their own. They're doing it, I feel, as a labor of love because he's a young filmmaker. They probably like Adam and believe in him, and those are all good reasons. All I'm doing is putting them on that pedestal that they don't need this. So they're doing it for him. He's not doing it for their big break.
More so, yeah.
They're doing it for him because they're already legends. So as far as what do you think of the storyline? is it like a good character of Tony Todd who's deceitful as Reverend Zombie,
I kinda like
having
that.
Mary Beth and her uncle go there as bait to try to end the whole
he's
Victor Crowley.
Pretty shady.
So you did like 2
I did like 2, yeah.
better than 1, or
yeah, I would say
better
so.
than 1?
Yeah, I like 2 better.
I like
To me-
them as they go along. So for me, 1 is the weakest, goes 2, goes 3. It goes in succession as far as any of that goes.
I think I like 3 better than Victor Crowley, or 4, or however you want to go about calling
4
it.
Victor Crowley. It's all same. So going on to the next one, because we're going to watch all 4 of them tonight and play games and eat candy, and maybe I'll show some footage of that. If I do that, I'll probably have to do that with the phone because we're doing this on a laptop, so I really can't just spin everything around. But I'm sure I'll have a dance floor later. Not that anyone cares, but I do.
Nice.
Hatchet 3 from 2013. What do you think of it overall?
Zach Galligan.
The Gremlins guy.
Yeah, that goofball.
That's funny to me.
And I really like Derek Mears' part in that. I really like him.
I also think, though, a part of you liking Derek Mears, we did get to meet him at Rock and Shock in 2019, and he was like our neighbor in the hotel. He was a few doors down, and he was nice to us, and he was like, "Hi," right, or "Good morning, guys," and you look at him and say hi, and I do the typical look down because I can be a rude bitch. I'm really just shy is what it is, so I just was like, "Oh, okay." I don't know who said hi, but I didn't even look up.
It's kind of tough when you're looking at some guy that's like 12
he is,
feet
you gotta
tall.
go like that. That's
like
true.
he's heading your way. So for me, I'm just gonna look up and just, hey, how's it going?
But for me, it's the audible part. It's that if I met any of you in person, it's not that I wouldn't be nice, but I'm really shy and quiet. Me doing these videos is out of my comfort zone. John is actually the one who will shake your hand and say, "Hi, I'm John," or "It's nice to meet you," or "Yeah, it's nice weather out." I'm the type to be like, "I'm Jen. It's sunny. Yeah, it's rainy." And he does all the talking. I don't say a word. Not unless I'm addressed, not unless I'm provoked to.
Makes things easy for me.
It's better that way. I get in less trouble. But I would agree. I like seeing Zach Galligan as the sheriff in it. I think that it's kind of over the top acting.
Just a little bit.
You know, just the way that he talks and he grits his teeth, because in the beginning scene, Mary Beth comes in with Victor Crowley's head, I believe, or skull.
Like the skin of his face.
The skin of his face she comes in with. So she brings herself into the police station, and she's arrested.
Covered in blood.
And all of that. And the sheriff is Zach Galligan, and he plays Sheriff Fowler, and I think it's a great part. And since you like Derek Mears, the great part is they go to the Honey Island swamp to investigate things, and you have the police, ran by Zach Galligan. Then you have the SWAT team, which is run by Derek Mears, who definitely punks off Zach Galligan. Just a smidge. He could kick the living shit out of him. How do you feel about any other characters in it? Sid Haig has an appearance as Abbott McMullen.
He needed more time.
He needed more screen time. He is
needed
funny.
More time. I liked him, and he was good because I haven't really seen much of him. So
and he's really funny.
To see him as the overbearing, angry racist was kind of interesting, actually.
The only thing that I found relatable is when not like this now, when he says, it's 8:30, it's the middle of the night. That is such a old person thing to think or say.
Yeah, I feel that way sometimes.
So I thought that was funny, but he is really funny in it. And again, we're saying these things knowing that you guys probably know these movies, so it's not a typical review. But in Hatchet 3, the purpose of Sid Haig, he's Abbott McMullen. He's a cousin or a distant relative of Thomas Crowley. He has his ashes. And a journalist played by Caroline Williams, who is the ex-wife of the sheriff, Zach Galligan. She's a journalist that gets Mary Beth out of prison, a.k.a. Danielle Harris, and they go to retrieve these ashes. They want to present these to Victor Crowley to try to kill him that way, end everything, giving his dad's remains at the swamp. So each movie, someone is trying to make amends with Victor Crowley and put an end to it. So that's the purpose of Sid Haig in it, and he is pretty funny in it.
I thought it was great.
So that's one of the best parts. I'll ask about Caroline Williams, but I don't know that there's much you think on that. She's a main character as Amanda Fowler. She's the journalist who thinks of bringing the ashes. Any thoughts on her? Or
I've never honestly seen her before. up until that. So
She was in a movie that we saw. She was in the second Stepfather movie with Terry O'Quinn in the 80s. She wasn't
right,
that.
but I'm saying before.
But you've never seen Caroline
Yeah.
Williams in something. Got it.
So up until like seeing the Stepfather movie, I think there's something else probably. I'm sure.
And
She's been in a
also
few
in it,
things, but-
Sean Whalen, who is in People Under the Stairs. He's been circulated in horror movies before, and he's also
The guy always confused with the guy from Fright Night. But...
Who does he look like from Fright Night? Evil Ed.
Yep.
He doesn't.
To me, but
I don't think much on Sean Whalen. He was in a Got Milk commercial, and it's mean, but he has the gums and the teeth and the. You can kind of tell if I'm loopy or I've had something to drink. You could just tell I'm a little off because everything's funny. But I haven't, other than People Under the Stairs, I haven't seen him in anything. That's what I know him from.
I'm sure he's been in
which
stuff.
was Wes Craven, but
I know. I thought that was impressive. That was from him too.
but that was from him. People Under the Stairs. Okay, so last movie, Victor Crowley, 2017. That's the one is sacred to me because I have Kane Hodder's signature and I have Adam Green saying Victor Crowley loves us, and that means a lot that he loves us. That's awesome. So what do you think of the last installment, which probably won't even be the last?
I think Adam Green was full of shit because if we went to the swamp, he'd cut our heads off.
Oh, that Victor Crowley loves us?
Yeah.
That's
no,
true.
I thought that was probably my favorite because even though I guess it's pretty much like one basic set, I guess.
Because they're mostly on the plane, most of it.
There was a lot more like funny to it. It had a lot more comical things going on, like the whole fighting between Andrew Young and his wife.
Oh, I
Dave
love
Sheridan.
Sabrina. Sabrina is like the best to me that has her talk show. I mean, speaking as a woman, when you're around somebody that you hate, which would be an ex, you just want to stick it to him, and it is pretty funny. Because Felissa Rose, I do like her part in it because she's his publicist and she's a pill popping bitch and I want the pills that she's on. But what I think is just so funny is the New York accent that she tries to have and talk like, well, I try to do it because I'm Rhode Island, but she does a horrible accent, but it is kind of funny. She's a pill popper. But what I think is funny is the lie. He thinks he's going there for $1 million and he was in there for 2,000, which is what the ex-wife thinks is funny. So that's why I like Sabrina, because she's if you're somebody's ex, you're supposed to bone them. You're supposed to be a snake. So I like her part. I also like seeing Laura Ortiz. That was his co-star in Holliston. So she's Rose. And you like Dave Sheridan.
Sheridan's great.
You like Dave Sheridan because he plays Dylan in it. Dylan McMaster, who wants to be an actor, who does a great impression of Jack Nicholson. But he also...
Robert De Niro.
What you like about him. Say why else you like him, though. He makes fun of a star from Scream, David Arquette, as Dewey.
He's Officer Doofy.
He's Officer Doofy in the Scary Movie.
That.
That's why you like him.
And I didn't even know that was him.
Officer Doofy. You just love that whole thing where he's trying to be. And David Arquette really is like that. Yeah. I was talking to people I told you about Scream 5. And yes, I like David Arquette, but I like him for the comedic relief in the Scream movies because he's a freaking idiot. So seeing Dave Sheridan, who plays Dylan in Victor Crowley, seeing him being him, like being Officer Doofy or Dewey, is funny because that is how he acts. Like a clod, like how everybody makes fun of people and say, oh, people in law enforcement are just stupid. He does it so well.
But he was also really funny in Victor Crowley, too.
No, he was very funny in Victor Crowley.
Nice.
I also like seeing Tiffany Shepis drown because I'm like that, but I'll say it. I love that all day. This was somebody who punked me off online and told me a thing or two about acting, and I'm like, you know what? You just didn't drown soon enough in that movie, but she drowns. That's what matters.
Right around the hour mark.
Right around an hour, because I thought of how Dylan's holding her hand, and I'm like, just let her go. Let her go down with the ship. It's like Titanic. Bye-bye. I can't wait. And another person. Because I had to write that one down because I didn't remember his name. Brian O'Quinn. Is that his name? Brian O'Quinn that plays Austin.
Brian Quinn.
Or Brian Quinn. Is it Brian Quinn?
I think so.
Brian Quinn.
The guy from Impractical Jokers.
That's what it was. You knew him from a TV show because Adam Green was excited to get Brian Quinn because he's funny and he's like, oh, he does all this comedic stuff. I've never seen him, never heard of him. But he's Austin and his scalp gets ripped off in that. And he's with Tiffany Shepis in Victor Crowley.
I'm sure everybody felt bad for him.
Because he dies or because he's with her?
With her.
That's funny.
Yeah, he gets his scalp
lopped off. So anything you like about the plot line of 4, where they're actually going there because they want to film a movie, and Andrew Young is there because he's going to do a documentary, but the plane crashes and now they're victims of Victor Crowley. So you like it because it's one set. Anything else?
I just thought it was pretty all around entertaining. It was just funny.
There was
just
a lot
funny
of
movie.
comedic relief to
Just
it.
a lot of funny movie. For a horror.
Also, I'm sure people know this, but Adam Green makes an appearance as a pilot in it with his best friend Joe Lynch, who is also on his show Holliston. So they make their brief appearance. Oh, that's it. Yeah, that's Adam Green.
Poking fun at pilots.
And I love Joe Lynch. One thing I could say, if you watch anything like Holliston or anything that has him in it, his best friend, not that Adam Green's not funny, but he's funnier.
Joe Lynch is funny.
Joe Lynch is funny. He's wacky. He's zany. His character on Holliston, he's like a complete cheapskate. He can't even take his girl on a date. He makes her eat peanut butter or, puts gum in her mouth. Like if you just said, here's a piece of gum hun here, I'd be so pissed if that was our date night. But it's funny. It's funny to watch. Not funny in real life. But anyway, guys, we have fun watching these movies. They're our favorite. I didn't really sit and dissect. I went over the plot really quick and the people in it. But I love these movies. I think that Adam Green will do more. He's saying that he hasn't because of the pandemic. Getting up the money for it is another thing, maybe a fundraiser. But I really hope he does do more movies. And I don't know what you think. Do you think you'd like to see more, or 4 is enough and there really shouldn't be any more?
I wouldn't mind seeing another one. They got to figure out how to bring Dave Sheridan back, though.
He had to die. That's right. He's the sacrifice of 4 through his death. And now there's 2 survivors. Because there's Andrew Young and there's Rose. Laura Ortiz lives too. Oh, and at the end, we know that Mary Beth, my favorite, my girl, Danielle Harris, is alive. So she's going to go get him. So I hope they do another one. That would be great.
That would be nice.
So we're actually just finishing up the first one. We're going to watch all 3. I'll probably come on, and if I don't have another video, then it'll be a camera phone video, because I did tell people I was going to try to do the moonwalk. So if I get into that, I will try to do it later, just not very well. But for those of you who are watching, we greatly appreciate it. This is a lot of fun for us. This is our scary sleepover. We have 80s night. We do all kinds of themes all the time. And so I'm going to try to put some of that on YouTube so you get a better understanding of who we are. Well, maybe you don't want that, but he goes along with it. So anyway, I am Jen, aka the Devious Diva. This is John. We thank you for watching, and I'll bring you another video very soon. So I hope you guys have a great night. Thanks.
Thanks, guys.
Bye-bye.